You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel.
I'm Clint. It's Monday and we're here. Today's episode is brought to you by Sonos. Experience the game like never before with the Sonos Arc. We'll talk more about them a little later. But Daniel, a very busy football weekend on so many fronts.
Yes.
It's like one of those octagonal 3-dimensional diamond. I don't know. It's a shape. No, there's lots of sides to this NFL weekend as well as college football weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about some dogs in the NFL making some noise, doing some business, doing their work. We're also going to talk Jermaine Burton to Alabama, as well as some other transfer portal news. The always crusty, always ready transfer portal strikes again. We'll talk about that.
I have some friends in my real life. We'll call it my real life, my non-podcast life. This is my real life. I think we all know, but in my other life,
okay,
I have some friends who have just people are always learning, like, oh, you have a podcast. Oh, that's fun. And I get this question a lot, especially from non-SEC football fans.
Oh no, here we go.
I get the question, what do you guys talk about in the off season? Well, you just don't put out episodes? And I say,
Sir.
well, it turns out that there's no off season, one. And two, there is never a shortage of things to talk about. And they say, well, is it like you branch out and talk about non-UGA stuff? No, it's just there's always content to cover. It's Locked On
The
Bulldogs.
dogs always be doing something. You understand this?
And let's start here, because we don't often spend a ton of time on this podcast talking about dogs in the NFL, because we're Georgia fans, and that we'll cheer for you in the NFL. But yeah, it's Locked On Bulldogs podcast, not the Locked On Former Bulldogs podcast. I think that's called punt and pass or something. I don't know. The Locked On Former Bulldogs podcast with Aaron Murray and Drew Butler. I think they host that podcast. We host this one. But let's start here, because if you didn't see this coming in the year the year of our Lord, 2022, when the Atlanta Braves have gone on and just won that World Series.
Max Fried's right over there. Max Fried right over there. Just staring down a strike zone.
You love to see it.
You do.
And then Georgia Bulldogs just went ahead and followed that up with a national championship win over Alabama. You and I in the building. Just some property destroyed in Indianapolis. Can confirm.
We passed it.
Yeah. Well, that's being generous. We passed it.
I didn't lie. Did I lie?
It was being destroyed. Yeah.
Did I lie?
Two elderly gentlemen at Vanderbilt.
Your
time's coming. All right. If you don't think that Matt Stafford is going to go ahead and win him a Super Bowl championship, then I can't help you, because the handwriting is right there on the wall. It's out there in front of God and everybody. I don't know what else you need to see. Matt Stafford, he's paid his dues. We call paying your dues playing in Detroit in the NFL.
Oh my gosh.
He's done that. He's paid his dues. And now all of a sudden, he's on a competent team with competent players. And look at this Matt Stafford coming out here and just spinning it around all over the yard in these
slinging
playoffs.
it.
He's still got a little juice in the arm, Clint. He's still got a little.
Did you ever question if there was anything left in the tank of that arm, Daniel? He's going to be one of these guys. He's like, look, I don't know. I still to this day don't know how Phillip Rivers ever made an NFL career with his chicken wing throwing motion. To this day, clueless But that thing came rocking out of there. Matt Stafford going to have one of these arms one day that just never gets tired. He's slinging it. Sean McVay and all the Rams.
He'll be doing Copper Fit commercials before he retires from the NFL. That's my official prediction on Matt Stafford. He'll be out there. It'll be him, Jerry Rice, and Brett Favre. They'll be out there just pitching it around, but only Matt Stafford will be a current NFL player. Good for him. Knocks off Tom Brady. Good for Mecole Hardman. Scores a huge touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Had another couple big catches. Some familiar faces in the postseason in the NFL for the Georgia Bulldogs. All that is fun. It makes the playoffs watchable from a college football fan perspective. But let's talk about some other former Georgia Bulldogs who have not gone on to the NFL, but have just left the program.
But they're former and they're not in the NFL. Former. This is interesting.
No,
this is interesting.
They moved right out the door.
We're going to get back to them, but first I want to let you know about Get Upside. Get Upside is your app that you need to download right now. It takes every time you fill up your car, lawnmower, ATV, snowmobile, jet ski, boat with gas. Mm-hmm. If you use this app, Get Upside, it's in the iOS store, it's in the Android store. Every time you fill up and you use this app, you're going to get 25 cents off per gallon each time. But wait, Daniel, there's more. What if I was to tell you that each time you used it, the first time you used it, you got an additional 25% off, or I'm sorry, 25 cents off of every single gallon of gas that you use? What would you say about that? How would that tickle your fancy?
25 plus 25 is 50. Now, what if I pull up to the pump? I'm just saying, you strategic here. Okay. What if I pull up to the pump in the big truck, pull in the trailer? Pull in the trailer. I got the ATV. I got a couple extra gas cans right there on the trailer.
You got that toy hauler going? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Daniel, I didn't know, Daniel. You can't hide money with that toy hauler, Daniel.
No, you can't. Now you fill up the truck. Then you start to fill up some of the other containers. Now you get 50 cents back on that entire purchase. You got
Get Upside. The app you got going on, Stu going. Use the promo code SCORE for that 50 cents off the first time you fill up. Everyone's using it right now. A lot of people are getting $200, $300 off a month. Get Upside, promo code SCORE.
Clint, we are going to talk about Jermaine Burton transferring to Alabama. That seems to be the thoughts that are happening right now. Before we do that, may I comment that the date is January the 24th, year of our Lord 2022. We've already established Braves have won the World Series, reigning World Series champions. The Georgia Bulldogs, defending college football national champions. And yet, here I sit on January 24th, 2022, and Tom Crean is still the basketball coach at the University of Georgia.
No, never again. Stop.
Listen, I'm not going to stop until he's out.
Well, Daniel, you go ahead. You take your sit-in. You take your sit-in right on down to Athens, and you sit out right outside of Mr. Brooks' office, and he's going to pass you each morning and ask you how your coffee is, as he just continues to do the thing that everybody thinks is an abomination, which is continue to employ Tom Crean after every single factual evidence to the contrary that he should. Tom Crean's going to stay there to the end of the season. I don't know what to tell you.
They got outscored 47-24 in the second half of this game on their way to a game they were winning handily at halftime, almost losing by 20 points. Tom Crean would have you believe it's because they didn't throw the ball in the middle, Clint.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Does throwing the ball in the middle while on offense prevent you from giving up 47 points on the defensive end of the floor in one half of a game?
No, it doesn't.
I'm tired of the excuses. Georgia deserves better.
By the way, just so you guys know, all of our listeners, longtime listeners, short-time listeners, if you knew our YouTube or the podcast, this is a TPS report from Office Space and Daniel. So Tom Crean's still coach. We're gonna get used to that. Just time after time after time.
I'll set the building on fire is what I'll do.
I'll set the
building on fire if you.
Hey, let's transition to the aforementioned Jermaine Burton is out. Hey, by the way, remember when we told you don't pay for subscription services that give you rumors about head coaches maybe coming into an airfield space somewhere around Athens and saying that Jermaine Burton and JT Daniels are a lock to be a package deal. Those two can't help but separate. They're going to go on. Ole Miss really getting something. Oh, wait a second. Jermaine Burton just drops. He's going to Alabama. JT ain't following him there because you know who's already quarterbacking.
Yeah. Well, JT don't want no competition. We know that. We know that.
Bonafide fact. I know some things. Some things I know, some things I don't know. The things I do know, JT don't want no quarterback competition. He wants the handed job to him. So Jermaine Burton is off to Alabama. A lot of consternation over this one. A lot of heartache.
We talked about this on the other day on the pod.
We did.
People have feelings about this. People just
all of them feels.
They do. Let me just clarify. No one's saying Kearis Jackson's better than Jermaine Burton.
I'm not. I've never heard him say this, by the way. Okay.
Literally, no one's saying this.
No.
We did say Kearis Jackson is still on the team, and Jermaine Burton is not. Yeah. But let's circle back to kind of a big picture because. My wife's just passing through the room the other day, and she hears me saying something to this effect, and she says, "Who's leaving, going to Alabama?" And
Daniel's just ranting at the wall.
I'm just sitting here. The computer's not even on.
No, it's not.
There's no camera set up.
No.
There's nothing. I'm just talking to the air, and she says, "Jermaine Burton's transferring to Alabama," and then she just says, why would he do that? And so, Clint, I'll just ask you. For the listener who may be thinking to themselves, well, Georgia just won a national championship. Jermaine Burton is the best receiver on the team. He's coming back. Had a good chemistry, it seemed, with Stetson Bennett. Why would he do that, Clint?
Because he wants his stock in the NFL draft profile to increase. And if he is in a room, which I've been told by all Alabama fans, there's no wide receiver of note any longer. They were all injured.
Did you see them dudes trying to catch them balls in the national championship?
I'm told that they have no scholarship players at wide receiver at Alabama, apparently. That's what I've been told. So you go to Alabama because you are instantly the guy that Bryce is going to force feed the ball. And you have changed positions time and time again in order to find your way into the most playing time possible without trying to ascend and jump over and leapfrog other individuals. That's why you go to Alabama right now, because they have Bryce, because they have an offense. They have returning players. They're in the spotlight. Your draft stock wants to go up, and all the wide receivers are now gone. Mechie, gone. Williams, gone. And everybody else, again, apparently there's no more scholarship athletes over there. That's why you go.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I may follow up and say something else in the next segment. Ooh. But in this segment, I will say this. I don't hate this move if I'm Jermaine Burton. I don't think this is necessarily a bad decision. I'm willing to say that. Alabama has an offense that's going to feature the wide receiver much more prominently than Georgia's offense is.
Yes.
Period. Alabama has a quarterback that is, in 2022, much more capable of getting receivers the ball in a way that's going to make NFL scouts and GMs salivate than Georgia will in 2022. Now, Georgia's got some good young quarterbacks on the roster, but they're not in a position to be what Bryce Young is next year. That is, no matter whether they're playing behind Stetson, in front of Stetson, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're not in that position. It's not a terrible move from a business perspective, and we said this in not so many words, but just to sort of paraphrase what we said the other day on the podcast. Each one of these young men is running a sole proprietorship. Okay, they are running a small business with one employee, and the employee's name is their name.
Quite literally, the employment's name is name, image, and likeness of them.
It's them.
It's just you
They
fill
are
in the
running
blank.
a business. I don't know if you've ever run a business before, but the goal of the business is to advance the business. And so, yes, do some of us miss the days of college football where people used to commit to schools and they used to stay there and they used to be a diehard fan of the program and they used to whatever? Yeah, we do. Those days are gone. That is not college football right now. College football is not an amateur sport.
No.
You've got a kid that dreamed of being a Georgia Bulldog, and he almost transferred this offseason. He came and won a national championship at his dream school, and then he almost transferred at the end of the season. Anyone can transfer at any point. I do not fault Jermaine Burton for trying to make a business decision. Now, that being said, Clint,
Yeah.
this doesn't change anything about whether or not did Georgia have the best wide receivers in the game when they played against Alabama? Like, did Georgia have?
Let me say this definitively. No.
No. Did they have the best quarterback in the? Did they have the quarterback that NFL scouts were drooling over that could make the throws? Did a quarterback that could take Jameson Williams, who was undrafted when he was at Ohio State, couldn't crack the depth chart at Ohio State, and all of a sudden he comes to Alabama. Look what happens to him. Boom, first-round draft pick. Yeah, Georgia didn't have that quarterback last year. Did Georgia win the game?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they did. They won the game. So Georgia fans, none of this stuff impacts Georgia's ability to win the game. Georgia's going to have good players. Alabama's going to have good players. The question is, who's going to have enough players at enough positions to win the game when all's said and done?
That's right. Hey, we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this. But first, I want to let you know about Built Bar. Built Bar is the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth. How do we know? We've tried them with a myriad of flavors, textures even. I mean, I'm talking these people stepped up their game and did different textures. Not that.
Oh, yeah.
Not that
they got some
crispy
rice
stuff.
ones.
Ooh.
They got
some mallows in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real deal.
They got fruit. That churro marshmallow one, very underrated.
Chef kiss that one. 100%. Pick your favorite flavor at BuiltBar.com right now. Let them know we sent you putting Locked On the promo code. Get 15 Locked On 15. I'm 15% off your entire order of Built Bar right now. It sounds right. It is right. Actually, as a matter of fact,
it's very right.
And it's going to come straight to your door. They are keto approved. They are high in fiber. They are low in sugar. They are high in protein. It's pre-workout, post-workout, meal replacement, in the middle of a workout, in the middle of a busy day, whatever you need to get you going. BuiltBar.com. Tastiest protein bars on planet Earth.
Let's just tell the people about BetOnline while we're at it, Clint.
We should.
They're your online sportsbook experts. They're the place that Clint and I go to place every wager that we want on college sports, on professional sports. Obviously, the NFL playoffs are in full swing right now, and so you go over there to betonline.ag. You put in all of your bets on the NFC Championship game, the AFC Championship game. Listen, don't act like I don't see the San Francisco 49ers over there, Clint. Don't act like I don't see them. Don't act like I don't.
I'm glad you do. I've seen them.
Don't act like I don't see them. You're going to be able to get a nice little money line on them again if you want to go that route for a third straight week. Can they do it? Listen,
yes.
The San Francisco Giants have the Los Angeles Rams number. They have beaten them, I think, like 6 of the last 7 times.
49ers?
I'm sorry, the 49ers have the Rams number. That's right.
Correct.
That's right. BetOnline.ag is the place you go to place all these wagers. They are your online sportsbook expert. Go there right now. Enter the promo code Locked On. You're going to get 50% bonus on your initial deposit. That means you deposit money. They give you free money when you enter the promo code Locked On. NBA, NHL, NFL playoffs. Get your college football futures. Bet on college basketball. Fade the Georgia Bulldogs. Whatever you want, it's available at betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts.
All right, Daniel. So not only did we see Jermaine Burton go But there's also some news and some rumblings about other receiving targets for UGA. I'm not going to call them wide receivers quite yet because I don't know what to call them. It seems to me that Eric Gilbert is back in the fold at UGA. It seems that Big O is not leaving anywhere. It seems like he's back in the fold. It seems like the wide-bodied target, Big O being the biggest bodied tight end, but Eric Gilbert transitioning to that flexed out wide receiver, David Boston-esque pass catcher. Seems like they're in the fold. Latavius Briney is off to Arkansas. And yeah, y'all just need to keep this in mind. Please continue to keep this in mind. And you could be this person that time after time after time after time repeats themselves like a broken drum beat.
Is that called podcast host?
Yeah, that's actually us. I'm describing. No, Daniel, I'm talking to you right now. I'm not talking to the people at home. I'm talking to you right now.
This is pre-production. We turned off we shut down the recording. We shut down.
Yeah, that's right.
I see.
Look, you can say how awful this is and no loyalty and who these aren't damn good dogs and yada, yada, yada. You could say that all you want, but I just warn you. I warn you.
Warn away.
Please. I know we lost some people and they made business decisions. But do you know what that also means for the University of Georgia? This crusted portal that's out there that is a weird, unregulated thing. I agree. It's weird. It's unregulated. Who knows? It's weird. But it also means the door opens and swings the other way, y'all.
It does.
Okay. It does. So if you don't think that King Kirby, who's what was he known for before he won the Natty? Most of all, King Kirby. There's that crown. He was known for being able to get young men to come play. He gets them recruits.
That's in fact all he can do. He can't coach and win the big game.
No.
All he can do is recruit.
Well, what if I was to tell you? What if I was to tell you? So it swings. That door swings both ways, and I again tell you, Darion Kendrick, y'all. Where did he come from?
Where would we be without him? Let's just ask that question. National champions?
Question mark?
No. The answer is no.
Where would our hype be that we did on last week's podcast about the defensive backs group without Tyke Smith?
That's right. For this coming year.
Okay. So let's just
it's slow down. All going to be okay.
We're fine.
And listen, some of y'all and I used to be this way. I really did. And I would say it's the national championship that's changed me, but I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm getting old. I just can't do it anymore. I don't know what it is. But I used to be this way where you take everything like 7 different steps down. Some of y'all worried about Arch Manning because Jermaine Burton transferred. Like, y'all, I don't know, man. Just, why don't you chill out? It's not, I just don't know.
You know what this
you need to go down that road that far.
Y'all just have played too much NCAA on the old GameCube back in the day, where you thought
it's coming back. And when it does, we're shutting the podcast down because I'm never doing anything else.
Just so you all are fully aware, you're going to see this happen quite a bit. My gaze is going to be up here. Just yeah, that's nice, Daniel. I don't. Okay. Okay. You guys have played the video game too long and think there's only this ability. You have to, they only progress a certain amount and you have to get them in here. And once you have one position filled, that's good. Then you go to the next position. It's not like that. They're people, they're humans, they're developed, they're coached, they're athletes that get better each year and they compete. Daniel, that's the great news.
Let me just ask you this, Clint, in a big picture level, not looking for a name here, just a general answer.
Okay.
You're Kirby Smart. I'm a reporter.
Yep.
Who's going to start at quarterback? Kirby? Who are you going to start at quarterback?
Well, that's just going to really depend on how practice goes this offseason and who has real command of the offense.
Yeah. So would you say it's maybe the one that gives you the best chance to, I don't know, win the game?
Look, Todd and the boys are going to figure that out. They're going to take care of it. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to come back after practice, and whoever has command of the offense is going to be the one. Whoever gets the best chance on Saturday to win the game, that's who's going to lead us out of that tunnel.
Listen, Kirby's trying to win games.
There it is.
This year. He's not trying to he is able, because he's a multitasker, he can also recruit Arch Manning. And you know what? Arch Manning is not an idiot. He understands that each year of college football is different than the last, and he's going to go to the place that he wants to go to. If Kirby has to throw it to the tight ends 280 times this year to win games, guess what Kirby's going to do? If he has a quarterback who is particularly gifted at doing that exact thing, and he has the best tight end room that's ever been assembled in college football. Somebody argue me.
No,
please.
I defy. Hold on to Vanderbilt. 2 elderly Vanderbilt fans just popped up.
Okay,
they just joined the chat.
The greatest tight end room that's ever been assembled, and a quarterback who has already shown great propensity, winning national championships, throwing the ball to athletic, gifted tight ends, and now you're telling me I might have a tight end split out over there at X? Like he might be over there on the sideline, +2, +2 in the package.
Yep.
Plus a loaded backfield.
Yep.
Plus some speedy, shifty guys like Ladd McConkey running out there in the pattern.
Yep.
Okay. So I don't care about what it looks like. Georgia's going to have a very good offense next year. It is not going to be a Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes type offense. It is not going to be an Alabama type offense, but it's going to be quite good. Guess what? It was quite good this year. It was one of the most efficient and effective offenses in college football this year.
Explosive all the way around, playmakers all the way around.
It's going to be that next year.
Yes, right. It will.
And I'm just going to throw this out there, and it's at the end of the podcast, so, most of you stopped listening already, and that's fine, because this is going to sound like sour grapes, and it's not. And I would love your take on this, Clint.
Oh, okay.
Because I said next segment I was going to come back and follow up what I said last segment. Last segment I said I don't fault Jermaine Burton for making a business decision. This segment I'm going to tell you I don't know that Jermaine Burton is that dude. I don't know that Alabama's getting what Alabama thinks Alabama's getting.
Because here's the deal. Daniel, quick question. Again, we just did the role-playing game where I was Kirby, you were the reporter, you asked me who's going to play, and I said whoever gives us the best chance. How practice is determined. You're telling me, Georgia fan, that our coaches want only a particular type of player so badly, they're going to sit the better wide receiver, any position player, by the way, in favor of who they think should play. No, that's what you're suggesting we do. That's what you do.
That's literally what every fan does.
The coaches will just say, hey, he's getting the better reps, so he gets to play. He's better. Okay. Jermaine Burton got beat out by Ladd McConkey. Argue with a brick wall.
Look, there's injury situations that he's dealing with and all that is fine. Yeah, but I'm just saying if Alabama thinks they're bringing in Jameson Williams 2.0, T's and P's. So is Alabama the favorite to win the national championship next year? Sure. Did we expect anything any different this year?
Nope.
No, we didn't. They returned the best offensive and best defensive players in college football. So, yeah, they're the favorites to win the national championship. Yeah, that is accurate. They also coached by the greatest coach of all time. Does Jermaine Burton put them over the top?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so.
If what I'm hearing is accurate and that they have no other wide receivers, that means they have Jermaine Burton at wide receiver. That offense ain't going to – Bryce Young is going to be wishing he had entered the transfer portal if that's the case.
It's going to be real.
It's going to be real. Okay.
Hey, that does it for Locked On Bulldogs and Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We'll be back tomorrow talking more Bulldogs as there's always news. He's Daniel. I'm Clint. We'll see you guys then.
See ya.